Gentlemen, hello.
Hello. I love that music, that Frank.
Yeah, it was great. It was very October.
And then it fades out right as we're coming. I mean, just
high-level production.
good job,
That
Frank.
wasn't me
Good
on
job.
the fade or anything.
By the way, before we get into anything, can we get a shot right here?
Wow.
Look at
Forest is magic. Forest. They're about to kick off. Actually, they probably did kick off.
12 minutes ago.
Oh, look at this guy. Look at this guy. Who questioned our fandom? Who questioned? They said we'd be off. They said we'd be off the bandwagon. Look at that fucking kit right there. Look at that guy. Leicester City going down. You know, some have been calling this the Helwani Derby because Leicester, of course, we used to support them back in 2017-18, but we're
way back in the day.
Yeah, we're fully entrenched. Do we have a score update? It's Monday Night Football.
Still 0-0.
0-0, okay.
13th minute currently.
Very
I'm
promising.
watching live.
Is Lingard playing?
That's a no.
Got to check the starting
Okay, all right,
11
thank
here
you.
real quick.
What a kit that. I should put my kit on right. I've got
Yeah, I
one
don't
right
know why
there.
You don't have it. I'm actually
mean,
a little bit disappointed. I do also have the matching.
Oh yeah.
It's right there. How about our
Strong.
boys in red?
Yeah.
What a logo.
Come on, you Reds.
Best badge in the league.
Yeah.
Whatever you want
Oh,
to
is
say.
that,
it's-
I'm not. I
it's
don't know
the best
terms.
badge
Is
in
that
the
what it's
league.
called? Badge.
Badge, patch,
All right.
crest. No sponsor, by the way.
Don't need one.
Yeah. What were you gonna say, NewYorkRic? You said before we get into the music. Was that what you were gonna?
Yeah.
Oh,
Great
okay.
music. Great music.
Gosh, so much to talk about. What about Bo Nickal? I mean, how do we talk about Bo Nickal without fawning over Bo Nickal? I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Like I was just saying to Rick off the air. I was like, I mean, it's a layup to be a fan of his, but
Yeah.
it's impossible to not be a fan of his. I mean, the way that he's performing in the octagon and then just his presence outside of it, he's hard not to cheer for.
right now, and by the way, is the echo just for me? I could live with it just for me, not for the
Just for
audience.
you.
All right. Right now, NewYorkRic, right now, you shoot straight.
Yeah.
You tell it like it is. Khamzat versus Bo, right now.
No, stop.
Why?
Stop that.
Why?
It's too soon for that. Come on, stop that.
I honestly don't know if it's too soon.
No, you're getting crazy here. Connor and I were kind of talking a little bit about it behind the scenes here. We know so little about Bo Nickal that it's just not. The things we do know are great. We know we can strike against lesser opponents. That is what it is. And I'm not faulting him. I'm not knocking him. These guys are lesser opponents. And it was set up that way. To the point that we've made about Jake Paul many times, you can fight who's in front of you. He's fighting an aggressive schedule, but these guys are lesser opponents. We don't know a lot beyond that, though. We know he can strike with those guys, and we know he's going to walk into every single fight with the best collegiate wrestling, amateur wrestling experience out of anybody. We know all that. But we know a lot more about Khamzat Chimaev. We know that he can take a punch, too, right? We know he can get in there with a guy who's as good as Gilbert Burns and win that fight. And we know that he can, against lesser opponents, go in there and take them out just as fast as Bo Nickal has. And I would argue that the caliber of fighter that he was going in there against and dominating was significantly higher than the caliber of opponent that Bo Nickal has been able to do that thus far. These are the things we know for sure. If you're asking me, is it possible that Bo Nickal is as good as that? It's very possible, but we don't know that. And I think it's too premature.
How does that fight go right now?
I don't know. I don't know enough. I know this.
I don't think it's a crazy question. You could say, I think Khamzat wins. I don't think it's a crazy debate.
That I will give you. I don't think it's crazy to think that a guy who is as talented as Bo Nickal could walk into a fight with Khamzat Chimaev and look like he belongs. I don't think we know that. That's all I'll say. But no, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy at all. But if I have to choose right now, because I don't know it, I'm going to back Khamzat. I know what Khamzat is. I know exactly what I'm getting from Khamzat at this point in his career against quality UFC opponents. Like, he absolutely dusted a guy in Kevin Holland who's, a top-ranked fighter. Like, he just dusted him. And,
Totally different skill set.
Yeah, no, styles make fights. Don't get me wrong. He also put...
Is he going to take him down?
He also put Jingliang in a blender and destroyed him. Gerald Mearshart destroyed him. Like, we have to not forget the caliber opponent that Khamzat's faced versus Bo Nickal has faced.
Is he taking him down?
I don't know, and I almost don't think it matters from the perspective that, like, those are means to an end, right?
Right.
But, like, for example, John Jones, Daniel Cormier. Cormier is the best wrestler he's ever faced. Is he going to take him down? Alexander Gustafsson took down John Jones. All these kind of narratives end up most of the time being a little bit inconsequential, the wrestling versus wrestling thing. Who's going to be able to execute the game plan that they want to execute? I guarantee Bo Nickal is very good at sticking to a game plan. I guarantee he would have a game plan against Khamzat Chimaev. I just think there's so much we don't know. Can Bo Nickal take a punch is a legit question that needs to be answered before I'm ready to say anything about him fighting Khamzat Chimaev. I need to know that. Because I know Khamzat Chimaev can.
What do you think, GC?
I don't know. Putting me between a rock and a hard place here. Obviously a big Khamzat fan, and now I have this newfound love for Bo Nickal. So I don't know. I mean, I would be intrigued to see it.
Are you more torn on the result that NewYorkRic thinks it's definitive? He, dare I say, thinks this is a bit of a silly debate to have right now. Are you a little more torn than he is? I'm torn.
I'm definitely more torn because the wrestling, I mean, 3-time national champion at Penn State, like the wrestling, you have to think that they have similar chops in the wrestling department. The question is, how good is Bo Nickal striking and how well can he take a punch? I mean, we saw Khamzat get rocked by Gilbert Burns and continue the fight. Can Bo Nickal do the same thing? And if he can, then, I mean, that's terrifying. Like, if he just has an ironclad chin and, like, his striking just continues to come along, it's going to be fun to watch the rise of Bo Nickal.
The fact that we could even have this conversation right now, I don't agree. Look, I think Khamzat is a perfectly fine answer. My answer is I don't know the answer. And the fact that, you tell me Khamzat versus anyone at 70 and 85, most of the guys I'm picking him over them. The fact that there's this 3-0 dude who has like less than 5 minutes of fight time on his resume, amateur and pro, the fact that I'm a little bit wishy-washy says a lot about him.
It does, but I will say this, and you're not the only one who suffers from this.
Recency bias?
No, not even. Because Khamzat's career has not been that long. He's a subject to recency bias as well. You're in love with the things you do know, right? You're in love with what you've seen, but all you've seen is him against low-level guys. What you don't know is the things that could potentially harm this argument. What you don't know is what could make this laughable potentially.
I don't know about laughable.
Man, you what we don't know is more damning. Believe me. When Khamzat was crushing those guys, everybody was like, this guy, oh my God, he's going to kill everybody. He's going to walk in there and smoke Usman in 5 seconds. Then he fought Gilbert Burns, and we learned a lot more about Khamzat Chimaev from that fight than we learned about what he was doing before that. We need to know some things about him, about Bo Nickal, that is. I know everything I need to know about Khamzat at this point. I'm pretty confident. I'm fairly confident in saying that. Like, I've seen enough from Khamzat that I know what Khamzat Chimaev is, and I know his potential. With Bo Nickal, the sky is the limit. His ceiling could be higher than Khamzat's, no doubt about it. But I need to see something first. Like, the dude needs to get punched by somebody. With
the respect that the books are giving to Bo Nickal every single fight, I would be fascinated to see what a line would be.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Fight. I have no idea.
No one has put that out there. I feel like there's.
Not that I've seen. I would assume, I mean, you'd have to assume that Khamzat would be the favorite. The question is what would the line be?
What about Bo versus Darren Till, Bo versus these guys?
See, that's where I think it gets more interesting because, to your point, styles make fights, right? Darren Till versus Bo Nickal is a tough fight for Darren Till, right? Because of that style. Khamzat Chimaev, it's a little bit different. We're assuming that the wrestlings are a little bit closer there, and the styles become different. With Darren Till, that's a bad stylistic matchup. Again, I don't like Darren could hit him with the first shot and he could go down. We really don't know. I don't know enough about Bo Nickal's chin. I will say this: I would lean more toward Bo in that fight. I think stylistically, that's a favorable fight for him, for sure.
Does he become UFC champion?
Oh boy.
Before it's all said and done.
Yeah, I'm saying yes.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes.
Yeah, I also think like do we even know where Khamzat Chimaev is fighting, right? You know what I mean? Like
I'm talking about
no, but what I'm saying is, look, like if we're operating under an assumption that Khamzat Chimaev could be a champion at some point as well, right? It might be at 170, it might not be at 185, which opens a path for Bo Nickal potentially to slide in there. And this is down the line. Yeah. But if Khamzat Chimaev is a champion at 170, Bo Nickal could be the 85 champion. Or they could both be on a path for 185, but there's potential crossover there. I have to think that he would be able to get it done with the level of wrestling that he has. It will really come down to like once he faces some opposition, once he faces somebody who's going to fight back with him, like we saw with Khamzat and Gilbert Burns. And that's, by the way, that's not the first fight in Khamzat's career where somebody's been in a fight with him. That's the first one in the UFC. What will Bo Nickal look like? And I'm very, very, very interested to find out, because there's not a person alive who's going to walk in there with better amateur wrestling than him.
But GC said yes.
I say yes. Yeah, I think he gets the belt at some point in his career.
Yeah, it's
only 26 right now.
Fascinating. Absolutely.
And to your point, one of the things that's so impressive about Bo Nickal is he's never going to defeat himself, right? The dude is so mentally tough. The dude is so professional. The dude has seen everything when it comes to high-level competition. We're not talking like, has he been in a cage with high-level fighters? But as far as like competing at the highest levels, pinnacles of sports, and this is what we've seen with other guys like Henry Cejudo before. Everybody's so excited. Aaron Pico, everybody's so excited because of what we've seen from them competing in high-level athletics, high-level competition. Bo Nickal is never going to lose a fight by not being prepared. Bo Nickal is never going to lose a fight by not being able to rise to the occasion. It will be, are his MMA skills coming along fast enough to meet that?
GC's reacting.
Oh my God. Did you see it? No? I'm assuming you didn't see it?
Yes, of course I saw it. They hit the post.
Oh my God.
There's a lot going on here.
We're sorry to
by the way,
tangent
more
like that
things,
off the post.
By the way, how come you're reacting to this like 3 minutes later? Or you're watching the replay?
My stream might just be behind.
Rick was in his thing, and by the way, professional that I am, I had no reaction. Just missed a wide open off the post.
Oh no,
Then you started to break.
No, I was here. I was
about to go
here.
crazy.
I mean, conduct yourself.
I was
Decorum.
about to completely interrupt Rick and go nuts.
I can't wait. By the way, do we believe him? Do we believe him with the whole like, oh, I don't know who I'm fighting? It sounds like a new UFC fighter who doesn't want to. Yeah,
he's softened on that. He knows who he's fighting, but as he said, like it's not signed. That's all.
I want to tell him like, come on, guy. They put it out on the PR.
He gave you as much
PR
as
wire.
He gave you as much as somebody's going to give.
Another thing with Bo Nickal that I love is how often he wants to fight. Getting right back
4
in there.
times.
Like, yeah, I love that idea. And if he can just keep running through opponents, like that's what you want to see.
There is a thing on the flip side where like there's fighters who say I can't get fights. And you're like, hey, you're able to squeeze this guy in 4 times. You're able to give him a fight a month after his contender, and then 3 months after that. Why can't you get? You know what I mean? It's very clear. If they want to give you fights, they can give you fights.
Yes, there's a truth to that, but there's also the idea like Bo Nickal is so confident that he'll take a fight. Like he doesn't have to manage his career as carefully as somebody else, right? Bo Nickal believes that he's the favorite against anybody he walks in the cage with, so he can say first fight available. Name the person. Don't care who they are. Give it to me. A lot of other fighters have to be, you have to build a little more carefully. But
does this fight last a round against Jamie Pickett?
Man, that's again styles.
I will be taking Bo Nickal inside the distance.
Yeah, that's rough. That's a rough style matchup.
Leicester City 1-0.
No, I'm about to have to watch that.
Sorry.
Should we just like we'll turn this into a football?
No, can we do a watch along? I mean, this is
get the popcorn out.
Who
was it?
Heartbreaking. Jamie Vardy. Do you remember the Leicester City era of this program?
This is the battle of the bottom of the table.
You say it like it was like there was a transition here. You just abandoned them. You dumped them in the.
Listen, no. It's just like they won the Premier League, and I was like, all right, we're good. I got to move on. I got to build something else.
Dino in statue mode.
Yeah, it's tough.
Didn't even flinch.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see this. This is probably one of the most interesting stories in the UFC right now. Like the way, and you know what? I'll just say this in retrospect. I didn't like the way they presented it, but the idea of putting him twice on Contender helped Contender, right? Yeah. Helped. I just didn't like the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That was my issue with it. I didn't hate, like, I don't hate the idea of them signing a prospect and being like, yo, we're going to put you through this first. By the way, if I'm ESPN and the UFC, I'd rather you take a 1-0 fighter and put him on Contender Series on ESPN Plus than put him on LFA or Invicta if it's a female fighter. You know what I mean?
For sure. It was the needs some extra experience, needs some he doesn't need anything. Yeah. He doesn't need a thing. He doesn't have to earn this. Like he's already earned this, and we all knew it. But also at the same time we all knew it, right? Like it was so transparent that like there was nobody who was under the assumption that this was true. We knew Bo Nickal was a done deal.
2-0 Leicester
Oh
City.
my God, I'm just getting over the first goal here. We're just now restarting.
I'm gonna mute.
Oh
It's
my God.
for these fucking guys. They go from hitting the post to now down 2-0. Golly, what is going on
What's
here,
the goal
guys?
differential now? We're at -13.
Can we
bottom
get
of
it
the
together?
table.
I mean, the scenes right now are
Is
just.
it too soon to talk about if you guys are still going to be here when they get relegated or what?
Oh, everyone's calling us out. We will 1,000% be here.
Okay.
We're in. We're in for
That
life.
makes one of us.
Wow. I will my son actually got FIFA 23 on Friday. It came out. He pre-ordered it. First thing we played was Man City versus Nottingham Forest, the rematch. He smoked my ass 5-0. So at least it was one better.
He was City. Wow.
Yeah, he's a hardcore bandwagoner, my son. He's like going like, oh, Holland, I love this guy. I'm like, yo, you haven't struggled. You can't just jump on the bandwagon. It is incredible.
I will say one of my first loves in soccer, pandemic, first thing back, Bundesliga.
Oh yeah.
Dortmund. I have a Holland Dortmund jersey at home. Been on the man for
Wow, for a minute.
obviously. I mean, 8 games to get 3 hat tricks. Unbelievable stuff.
Unbelievable. By the way, you wearing the red jersey right now, like you've never looked more like Christian Eriksen.
Yeah. Well, we need to get him to the forest, man, to help us out. I tried to start the campaign, but it fell flat on its face. I guess it didn't get up to the execs that you've been palling around with.
Yeah, speaking of campaigns, might be a campaign to sack Stevie Cooper, as we're really getting into the weeds here. But we'll
People
see.
have been saying that.
Look, 21 signings. What do you expect? The team needs time to gel.
Apparently it's 3-0.
Is it 3-0 now?
Oh my God.
Says Killishaw. Thanks.
I will say, when this team lets in goals, they let them in bunches. It feels like the Bournemouth game. Now this. I can't even remember who we played
It's
last.
okay. I still feel the love. I still feel the positivity. Now, guys, Saturday was an interesting night in the world of combat sports. By the way, could we address one thing? The elephant in the... Actually, no, before we do that, something I was just reminded... When I went back here, Frank, and I didn't hear myself as much, by the way, I saw you on the Everyday Helwani page talking shit. Don't think I didn't see that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you were like, oh, Helwani not talking into the mic again. Saw that comment.
My account must have been out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's talking shit, like
wow.
low key on the side. Who was the star of Saturday night? There was UFC, there was Bellator, there was Bare Knuckle with Ben Rothwell. Who do you think was the MVP? Because I don't know if there's like an obvious. I don't think anything was like, if you happen to miss Saturday's fights, yeah, there's a little bit of here, a little bit of there. Who was the star of Saturday night in your opinion? GC? I mean, you were watching on double screens at a bar, right?
Yeah, well, double screens, but it was 2 phone screens.
Golly, that is hardcore.
Yeah. I took my girlfriend's phone and was streaming the Bellator prelims
Battery
on
pack
YouTube.
in your pocket.
What'd you say?
Didn't you have a battery pack in your pocket?
Yeah, I was walking around in my hoodie pocket, battery pack. I've become the pros pro on streaming fights. If I'm not.
You're watching Bellator prelims?
Oh yeah. I was
Wow.
sweating out Samika Anaba, hoping that she ended the fight early. She did not. I made that apparent at the bar. I let it be known.
That is
The star of Saturday night. That's tough. I mean, I would either say AJ McKee debuting at 155 and getting the win, or Jan dealing with the ground game of Mackenzie Dern, and suddenly if she does get that fight against Rose Namajunas, that would make her a player in the strawweight division, and potentially see her get a title shot. I think I saw a stat that she has the most consecutive wins at strawweight without ever getting a title shot. So if she could somehow beat Rose, I feel like getting that win over Dern has opened some doors for her.
Zuckerberg.
There it is. I love that. Nice.
I mean, most talked about guy for sure.
If you're truly asking who was the star of Saturday night, it was Mark
That's actually a
Zuckerberg.
fact. Yeah, he got some time to think.
Okay, so then let me weigh in on this, because on Wednesday show there was all this hoopla, there was all this hullabaloo, some rumors, some discussion. Well, first it came out that it was going to be closed off to the public and the fans, and then everyone was wondering why.
Yeah.
And what did I say? The public.
Said the public.
Yeah, the fans and the media. And then, everyone's wondering why. And then on the show on Wednesday, I said, my understanding is it has to do with Mark Zuckerberg. Now, what exactly is the reason? I don't know. I did say on the show, if you go back and look at it, I said, he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy to rent the Apex out.
Yeah.
But I was told it had something to do with his presence at the event. That's all I said. I went back and watched it. So yes, that is the reason. Now, I think Mackenzie Dern afterwards at the media day said she heard, correct me if I'm wrong, that he rented it out. And I think that's what led to Dana White tweeting Mark Zuckerberg renting out the Apex is total BS. And then a lot of people thought that was a shot at me. And I don't know if there was broken telephone, but I never said he rented it out. I said I didn't feel comfortable enough reporting what I had other than that it was Zuckerberg related because I didn't know what it was. Now, what I'm being told now from good sources is he did not rent it out, that he was invited, and that it was the UFC's decision, Dana White in particular's decision, to close it off to the media and to the fans so that he and some Facebook friends, executives, whatever, his wife clearly there, can just enjoy it privately. So that's what I heard. And that's why you notice in the tweet, he doesn't really clarify. He just says he didn't rent it out. That's BS, but doesn't say the next line, which is he's going to be there. And to that, I would say Dana White kind of threw Mark Zuckerberg under the bus, his newfound friend. Very reminiscent of the Reebok days where the fans would quickly blame Reebok for a transgression in their eyes, i.e., remember Arjun Buller wanted to walk out with a turban, and what did the UFC do? They're like, oh, it's a Reebok uniform thing. When in reality, I know this because I spoke to Reebok about it. They never said, Arjun Buller, you can't wear it. It was the UFC who was trying to be like, no, we're keeping it uniform. We're keeping it clean. We don't want personality. We don't want this. But never actually said that, didn't defend their honor. And as a result, Reebok got all the shit. When in reality, for the vast majority of that deal, Reebok got a lot of unfair shit from fans. When in reality, it was the UFC using the Reebok deal to be super strict. All Dana White had to do, and it's not like Mark Zuckerberg needs me to defend his honor. He probably doesn't even know that he was getting a lot of crap for, being the reason why it was closed off. Had he just come out on Tuesday, hey guys, it's my event, it's my show, and I'm inviting this guy, and I want him to have the experience private with, 30 or so people. They're filling up the stands, whatever. Go F yourselves. Then at least this guy, Zuckerberg, wouldn't have got all the hate. But he left it, wink, wink, nudge, nudge on Tuesday, never actually explained it, still hasn't explained it. And then this guy got all the hate because everyone thought that he, quote unquote, rented it out because Dern misspoke. Kind of a shitty move. I doubt Zuckerberg cares. He was very happy to be there. But, that's the real story, what happened here. And you kind of wish that he just would have come out and said it. Just said, look, it's my event. It's at the Apex. I'm closing it off because I want this guy to enjoy it in peace. And, there's going to be a ton of people there. And all right, we move on. Now, it could bring up some discussion over like, oh, that's kind of crappy to the fighters, to this, to that. Oh, by the way, in the Nevada State Athletic Commission bylaws, it says media has to be at the weigh-ins. Doesn't say anything about the events, only because no promoter has ever tried to do this. I wonder if that changes in the future as a result of this. I don't know. But that's the story. Your thoughts?
Nothing else to say there, other than there has to be a method to the madness. There has to be a reason that Dana White chose this route. So, because obviously he knows come Saturday night, the cat is going to be out of the bag, right? So there has to be a reason that he decided to do this, and I don't know what that reason is, but otherwise it would have been a lot easier for him to say, yeah, we're closing it off, he's going to be there. But he knows by Saturday there's a shelf life on that twist of the truth, right? So there was a reason he took that tact. I don't know what it is, but ultimately Saturday came and then Mark Zuckerberg took the heat.
I mean, he took that tact because he didn't want to take the heat.
But
because Dana White is much more on Twitter than Mark Zuckerberg is. Does Mark Zuckerberg have a Twitter account?
But by Saturday,
it would be off-brand.
But by Saturday, it's the same, right? By Saturday, that's over. By Saturday, that becomes a non-factor anymore.
Dana White knew that if he would have said, I'm closing it off, my decision, he would have gotten the heat. By keeping it, why keep it wink, wink, nudge, nudge? So he doesn't get the heat.
But then Saturday, it's the same. Saturday, it would be the same as if he had said it on Tuesday. Because Saturday,
I don't understand your point.
You're saying, why not just transparently come out and say it on Tuesday, right?
Or Wednesday, or Thursday, or Friday, or when you put out the tweet, whenever that was, Wednesday night.
My point is that same heat he would have been owed or due from any of those days now just happens on Saturday, right? Like, why would it not happen?
Well, now he got away with it. The other dude got the heat.
Yeah, but the other dude would have got the heat if he did it on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday.
What he's gonna say is, whenever he's gonna do some, state-sponsored media, and he's gonna say like, "Mind your fucking business. I can do whatever I want." He's gonna say that. I just want the record to show that based on what I heard, the guy didn't rent it out. So, by the way, this is me saying right here, and please, if you're gonna quote this, remember this line. He actually didn't lie in the tweet.
Yeah,
he didn't lie. He said the truth. So all of you say that he lied. He actually told the truth. But there's a but. He didn't tell the full story.
Yeah, tough to say poor Mark Zuckerberg, but it feels like he's getting a lot of flack that.
And by the way,
doesn't deserve.
This idea that media couldn't be at an event that Mark Zuckerberg was at, like media's at events with super duper A-list celebrities. Like, what do you think the media is going to go do? Like, ask him for a selfie or something? Like, what good does it do to not invite media? So at least Yan Chanan could get a post-fight press conference or something like that, a clip. You know what I mean? What do they think they're gonna do? Like, there's events where media's there and like Brad Pitt is there, or I don't know, Magic John. Like, name a Joe Burrow, name anyone. The Rock, yeah,
Donald Trump,
yes. What do you think is gonna happen? Because Mark Zuckerberg is there. What are they gonna do? Beat him up?
We don't.
This is all so silly. This all became a very stupid story for no reason.
Yeah, that I agree with. We don't know, like, why. I don't know. The motivation for it is lost on me. I really don't know what the motivation is.
Yet you picked him as the star of the weekend.
Well, I mean, technically,
am I wrong? If I'm lying,
white tweet, it was technically
who got more attention?
I'm gonna go with Big Ben Rothwell.
You'd be wrong, but
great highlight.
I mean, it was a great highlight. Starched him.
Great fight. Just not the truth.
That going dark stuff was. I was hoping we'd hear everything that he does.
Yeah,
I mean, he's to a dark place.
Interest peaked.
Yes, I had to ask. I was kind of hoping that he didn't go there. If I'm being honest, like when he was like, I'm like, how dark is this, Ben? And I feel like Ben is readily willing to go very dark.
I mean, it seems like it.
I think he likes going dark.
He was willing to kill the man across from him.
Golly,
pretty much got his point across. Bo Nickal, choice words for you about how you eat your steaks. That was pretty.
I'm not,
funny.
I'm not rattled. By the way, dare I say, as far as tweet engagements are concerned, I think Daniel Cormier was the star of Saturday night.
Yeah.
I mean, that got a big pop. Even got a retweet from old WWE. Daniel Cormier, special guest referee for Extreme Rules. This Saturday, Philly, will you guys watch because of his involvement? I feel like
I'll watch.
Yeah?
What else am I going to watch?
I mean, there's MLB playoffs, there's CFB. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll get a side TV.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people out there like that. This is a brilliant idea.
I think it's a brilliant idea. Given his connection to both guys, given, he brings a little credibility, I think it's freaking amazing.
Yeah, I think people will watch this for sure.
What about that little poster I drew up? That's my guy Spence. Spence drew it up. I thought we did a nice little job there.
Looked good. I saw it everywhere.
Yeah, it was it.
DC's posting it.
DC posted without the Ariel Helwani on it. I knew people would steal it.
All the media, the wrestling media sites were posting it.
Did you like that they did it this way, where the news came out before any angle was shot, as opposed to him? I actually think in retrospect it was cool. It made it feel like a news story, as opposed to old school pro wrestling, like he would just show up on Raw and be like, "Hey, I'm there." You know what I mean?
I would say wrestling fans probably want the surprise, right? They probably just want DC to, oh my God, that's DC's music. That type
oh my God, play the Oklahoma State.
He doesn't have music, so I don't. Oh wait, like Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
So,
I told him he's got to show up. He's got to show up, pants pulled up real high, sweatpants tucked into the socks. He's got to be old school, like wrestling coach.
Yeah.
Maybe even come out with like a whistle around his neck.
Oh man, that's great.
By the way, I've seen DC. I've seen DC, no joke. When I did the E60 on him, I went to Gilroy. I've seen him rip on his son. Like, he was so hard on his son. Not to mention the other kids, the high school kids.
Yeah.
So I was talking to him. I was like, you need to go there. Like, you need to go to that guy. Number one mistake that he can make, and we had a long conversation about this morning. Don't play pro wrestler. Don't be happy to be there. Don't be a fan. He's going to do something tonight, and he was telling me what he was going to say. I was like, don't be a fan. Don't say I'm a fan. You're there. You're in this world now where you are brought in as the special enforcer. You're the guest referee. Don't say I'm happy to be there. I'm a fan. I'm this. I'm that. No. Go to that dark place like Big Ben and be like the old crotchety wrestling coach, that will actually come off really well. Like the guy who takes no shit from anyone, pushes, his weight around. If he comes in like Ronda, smiling with the oversized coat, happy to be there, it's going to be a huge failure. And he's going to ruin the spot where we team up for WrestleMania. Like this is, he got in the door first.
There it is.
Some might say mistake, but anyway, I digress. This is now the seed for WrestleMania, SoFi.
Don't blow
Heyman
it.
still with Lesnar?
Yes.
No, he's with Lesnar.
Oh, he's with Reigns.
Reigns.
But I'm
Back to Lesnar, Cormier, Heyman.
Helwani.
Cormier, Helwani.
Yes.
Lesnar. I mean, look at this. I'm building WWE for him.
Oh my God. I think it's great. I'm very happy for him, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. Now, how did we do on Saturday, and how did you do, GC?
Well, let's do the parlay, pals.
Let's go.
Let's dive in.
Wow. That was very aggressive.
Rocket ship.
You all right there, Frank?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can. Here's the recap. Pico, the shoulder, tough loss, but the parlay had already lost at that point. Randy Costa, struggling to get it done there.
Yeah. First fight of the night?
Yeah. Frank.
The parlay was busted on the first fight of the night, Frank.
In the first 90 seconds.
Your thoughts?
Wasn't happy for that to happen.
Now, to be fair, he picked the lowest line, right?
That is
he picked
true.
The most risky part of the parlay.
Now, you say to be fair. I say, low key, not a lot of people talking about this right now. The winning streak that I'm on right now, regardless of what the line is worth noting.
Yeah, Frank, you say, oh, God.
A lot of people.
I'm mistaken, Ariel is 9-1 on his parlay pick.
Wow. Where are the tweets now?
900.
Where are the hate tweets now, huh?
Yeah.
Listen, no one said that we had to pay. The only stipulation you guys said was under minus 1,000, right?
Correct.
That's all you said. So Pico, who's the second one there?
Sadiq Yusuf, yours.
Oh yeah, that was me. Yeah,
Nice.
eyesight bad. And then Randy Costa and the Pico thing was crazy with the arm. Freaking Brandon Gibson, that was unbelievable what he was doing.
So, some doctors have since come out and said that's actually not how you treat that.
Wow.
Which is
They were throwing that arm around.
You mean Brandon Gibson doesn't know how to do that?
Yeah,
not a doctor.
Dude. Aaron Pico is a beast. Like the fact that he was like, yeah, let's just like do whatever you can, wiggle this thing around until I hope it falls back into place, and then it didn't, and then he's still like, yeah, whatever, like keep me in this fight. He's when quote unquote warrior, when you talk about that, he's definitely one of those. And Brandon Gibson is not a doctor here. Like he did his best to get him back in that fight, and it just didn't work. But Pico would have fought with one arm, no doubt about it.
Do they have to do McKee versus Pitbull next?
Yeah. Who? What else would you do?
Right. He's got one fight left.
You could sell me on AJ McKee versus Patricky. I'm okay with that. I'd be fine with the brother instead of and then hey, now I'm coming back down and I'll fight you too, to Patricio. But I'm more interested. There's no real heat there. That's just because he's Patricio's brother. There's more real.
You actually bring up a great point. He goes in there, beats Pitbull, bro.
Yeah,
gets that title.
There's a path.
It actually probably makes it a little more intriguing.
Here's why I.
But then you're playing with fire, right? What if he loses?
Well, you're playing with fire if he loses, but you're also pushing him further along as a 55er, right? Like now he's 2 fights into 55, and it's just like, do you want to come down and wait anymore and do 145? Now, I will say we had some reporting on our site where Patricio was saying eventually he's going up to 155.
I hate this. No, okay, sorry, not 35.
Well, after
I hate the
fight,
35
after
stuff.
the fight, they talked to him about going down to 135, but he said he's potentially looking at going up to 155. Now, if you do AJ McKee and Patricio at 155, now I'm okay with that. I don't think it has to be contested at 45. Although I think AJ said on the show today, for the trilogy aspect of it, go down to 145 and do it at the same weight. I'm okay if it happens.
I wish they would have kept the 55 belt on Patricio, and then they would have moved. What happened was he vacated it.
He vacated and his brother won it. I mean, look, it's hard to argue with the success of that, right? Like my brother wins a title, and now we're both holding belts in the organization. I mean, they did that right. There's a win there.
Right.
I'm okay with either of those, but it really has to be McKee versus either of the Pitbull brothers, right? Like there's not another fight I'm interested in.
Yeah, I can't think of another one. Although he has to sign a new deal.
And he has to sign a new deal.
He's got one fight left.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the picks, GC?
Here they are.
Oh, there they are.
Asking you shall receive. Did well in the singles. Go 5-2 there. The Jan pick is great, taking her by money line and by decision. I mean, you always love to see that. Struggle on the parlays though. Yeah, not good. Go 1-6. I actually think I thought I went 2-5. I actually went 1-6 on the parlays. A lot of them missed by just one leg, which is always the worst thing to happen. But yeah, I got to. I just kept firing all week. I didn't think that I was going to end up with this many parlays across UFC Apex 61 and Bellator 286, but here we are. Got to tighten it up a little bit moving forward. Regardless, though, end of the week, down 2.24 units. Fall under the 50-unit mark for 2022. We're at 49.55. Overall, we're sitting at 61.5. So still doing all right, but, you know, we knew the hot streak wasn't going to last forever, and we'll get back to our winning ways soon. I have no doubt about that. So yeah, it was a decent week.
What's the play for this weekend with no major MMA? Are we just taking it off a little?
Chris Eubank? I don't know.
I mean, that's a big time fight.
Probably take Chris Eubank.
Any lines on Glory?
Not that I've seen yet. I was thinking about that. I was pretty intrigued.
Do they ever do that, NewYorkRic?
There are some books that offer lines. They haven't had a fight of this magnitude in a bit, so I would be surprised if there wasn't a line somewhere. But it'll come later in the week, and he'll have to hunt.
Who we taking, kickboxing expert?
See, this is a tough one because Overeem's been off, and Bader has been sharper and competing against top-level kickboxers. Stylistically, you asked Overeem if he believes that Bader is going to come at him from the jump. He's 100% going to. Bader doesn't have a reverse gear. He's just a hunter. I could see a world where Overeem's shell is just too much and he's just hiding behind the big gloves. Like the thing that served Alistair Overeem so much better in kickboxing than it did in MMA is if he puts his arms up with those big gloves, it is really hard to hit that dude. He is a massive human with massive arms and the big old gloves on his face. It's hard to get through that guard. So I think if he can bide his time, fight defensively, keep the guard up, there's probably a real path to Alistair Overeem to pick his shot and find something. But I honestly feel like it's a fight does not go the distance type play. Like whoever lands the power shot is probably going to win that fight. Like those two are both coming for the kill. So that's probably the play there. It's hard, man. It's hard to predict who's going to win that fight, but I don't think it goes very far. I'll say that.
What is your level of interest?
Huge.
Huge? Why do I feel like this should be a lot bigger?
Yeah, it's flown under the radar. I think the cancellation of the Rico fight doesn't help, right? Because it's like they were building momentum, they're building towards something, and now it's like, we're diverting the plans, and now it's going to be something else. But yeah, big time. Look, this
is probably one, other than Alistair versus Rico, this is the biggest fight that can be made in the world of kickboxing. Am I crazy?
As far as casual fan interest,
like that's something that would draw someone like me in.
Yeah, no doubt. This is a huge fight. I would argue that this is probably bigger than Overeem versus Rico in terms of casual fan interest. I would say more people probably know who Badr Hari is than Rico Verhoeven. As good as Rico is the heavyweight king right now, no doubt about it. Like if not the best heavyweight kickboxer ever, in that lineage. But Badr has worldwide fans. In fact, I was talking to Jose Youngs earlier, and we had some parallel thinking on this. If Badr Hari's career started right now, and he was that same like bad boy that he was at the time, he might have been the biggest combat sports superstar in the entire world. He might have been like approaching incredible. Connor's level in terms of what he was doing as a fighter, coming in there and just absolutely murdering people. What he was doing, unfortunately, outside of the ring, he was a bit of a bad boy and getting himself into trouble.
Bit of a bad boy.
If he existed in this era and it was like social media, he would have been. The skies would have been the limit. I think kickboxing could have had a potential future in the U.S. where there's a lot more interest if they had somebody like that at this moment right now. Rico is very, very good, but he's very clean cut. He's very pro. He's very by the book. It's he doesn't have that like little bit of an edge.
What did you make of their demeanor in the face-to-face?
I liked it. I got to be honest. Would it have been better for our social media and for the websites if they had been at each other's throats? Absolutely, no doubt about it. But I do think there's something cool about two guys who have paid their dues in combat sports and are legends of the game, showing mutual respect for each other. But I think you got them to crack
by the end. It was good. I like that.
You know, Alistair has one version of events of a fight together. Bader had another version of events. What Bader said about it is ultimately how I feel, and I think the reality of this fight, which is they can have respect for each other. The moment the first one of them throws a punch at the other, that's game on, and it's going to be.
I'm very into it.
Fireworks. It's a really, really fun fight. It is one of the most fun fights.
How many people do you think they're expecting? 40,000, 50,000?
I mean, the crowd is going to be massive.
Yeah.
How it does on pay-per-view is going to be, the determining factor on if this was worth it for them.
Gloryfights.com is where you can get it.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the tweets like on their Glory Kickboxing account, and I just feel like more people, and maybe that's why they were on the show today, but I feel like more people should know about this. And there's not a lot going on. I mean, it's the perfect weekend for it. If you're trying to draw, like Eubank and Ben, if you know boxing, if you know the history, if you're a British fan, like even if you're a British MMA fan who isn't a boxing fan, you know who those names are, you know what they represent. But if you're an American MMA fan and you're looking for something fight related on Saturday, Overeem Badr Hari is the closest thing that you're going to get. And it's a gigantic deal. I don't know. It's one of the great mysteries of all my time. Like, why has kickboxing never crossed over?
I have a few thoughts on that. Before I do that, I think Eubank Ben is another one like that. Like, if you dig a little bit, if you scratch a little bit below the surface, if you're a casual fan and you figure out what that fight is about, that's another one that on Saturday is going to be incredibly
Oh, yeah, but that
awesome.
one, like, you look at the numbers on social and on YouTube for that stuff on the Matchroom and DAZN channels, that one exploded. Like, the face-to-face that they did, the face-off.
That's all boxing fans, right?
Yeah.
I think that fight...
boxing fans and like they were on Good Morning Britain, which is like their version of
casual UK audience for sure. I think more Americans need to be paying attention to that fight.
Yeah.
I think man, the story there, and now granted, Chris Eubank Sr., who we
get some Chris Eubank Sr. content on the feed this week.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was ever a time,
but he is removing himself from this fight.
No,
unfortunately, that's it would have. I mean, how epic would it have been
promoting his son,
if Nigel and Chris Eubank Sr. I mean, it would have been incredible. But either way, that's a fight that deserves some attention, as is no doubt Rico. Bader and Alistair. You asked me
why has kickboxing never
U.S. stars? I'll be like, it's the same reason American-born fighters traditionally have not been high-level kickboxers. There's also not an infrastructure for kickboxing, right? If American kids are growing up, they're going into other sports, but then in combat sports, they're going to boxing, they're going into MMA. There hasn't been an infrastructure, a pipeline for American talent. Quite frankly, like if we're not seeing American stars, it's hard. Like this is basically a European product. And the Americans are not seeing themselves represented there. If there was a big American star, now, there have been some people who have flirted with top contention in the past as American kickboxers, no doubt about it. But there's never been a guy who's been Rico, right? There's never been a guy who's been that level of dominant, who's crossed over there. It's hard. Like without the representation.
Well, why do you need that when in the UFC, some of their biggest names haven't been from America? Conor, Anderson, GSP.
Those audiences come with them, right? Like the joy of Conor is that Conor brought the Irish to it, and the Brazilian fans brought that into the UFC's American product. The American fans are not coming over, right? They don't have somebody that they can get behind and then go into glory and say, now we're here, now we have a fighter who's representing us and fight. It worked the reverse because the UFC was an American-based product, and now they were bringing these international stars. Although, obviously it had the Brazilian roots and other things like that. I think that's the biggest factor. I would say the talent, planting seeds here in the United States is probably the bigger thing. Because people just don't know. They don't know that it's a viable product. How do you watch it in the U.S.?
Yeah.
How do you watch it? It's a difficult thing.
There was a time they were on Spike, right?
Yep. There was
when
a
you
time
were
they
working
Spike,
for them,
they were
right?
on-
Or working with them as
Yeah,
PR.
I did PR through my agency for them. They were also on ESPN. There was a time where they were on ESPN too.
They were?
Yeah,
What era was this?
post Spike. They were airing on ESPN too, and they were on the early stages of the ESPN app, but they were not.
Right.
This was pre ESPN Plus.
I feel like they would be a great ad. for-
ESPN Plus would be a
right?
great landing
Imagine
spot.
this fight on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, it would be a great landing spot for them. So yeah, there's
And you guys did some
infrastructure
shows
problems.
at the Hulu Theater,
Oh yeah,
Hoffman Estates.
There was a lot more of an effort at that time
Yeah.
to try and plant
Now
US
there's
roots.
nothing.
Now it has become a European show.
I feel like it's become a Dutch show. I know they were in Belgium.
Yeah.
They had the, but like I feel like the Netherlands is where it's really at.
As I said, like what is the roster? It's
Right.
mostly Dutch guys and maybe Thai guys. Like that's really what you're getting. So the representation is harder. If there was a big U.S. kickboxing star and they could really send them into glory and make some waves, that could be the pathway to more.
A bit unfair to Dustin Jacoby.
Look, Dustin's great, but he was not that guy. I'll say
They tried.
it was great for his career, dude. Getting that level of experience.
Yeah. Oh.
Oof, Dustin Jacoby.
Joe Schilling, they tried with him.
Yeah, he did very well, and even Simon Marcus, a Canadian.
Simon
There was
Marcus,
North American
Joe Valtellini.
Joe Valtellini, also a Canadian. It just nobody was able to do that next step. That
Chris
it
Camozzi.
thing. Chris Camozzi fought for them, but nobody was able to
Yeah.
be that guy. That champ, that long reigning champ, and draw the people in.
Time Bomb.
You know what? That's not fair. Tiffany,
Yeah.
and she's the champ.
Yeah.
On the women's side, she's the best representative for the states that we've got.
But there's not enough, it's like the classic problem. There's like one star, but she needs a foil. She needs someone.
Yep.
But I'm looking forward to it. And Alistair, I love this version of Alistair where he's like brutally honest about himself. He's humble. He used to be like the cockiest mofo on the planet. Now he's like, let's be honest. I've come down. Like I love this version of him. He still looks like he's a freaking beast who can eat all of us. But I think he's honest about where he's at. I do think your assessment is right. And I think Alistair's assessment of Badr was maybe, I don't know, a little harsh if you want to say that. Yes, he has lost 7 in a row, but it's like dating back to 2000, not 7 in a row, sorry. He hasn't won since 2015, which I think is like 7 or 8 or something. There's a no contest there. But he's been way more active than Alistair in kickboxing, so.
And he's been fighting the
he's
very,
fighting Rico.
very best
Yeah.
of the best. His line is the line, right? A wounded lion is still a lion.
Right.
A wounded lion is still a lion. Both these guys are wounded lions, and one of them's, they're fighting for the meat. They're fighting for.
That's what they should call this Glory Collision 4. A wounded lion is still a lion.
A wounded lion is still a lion.
Put that on the
dropping
poster,
gems.
guys. Put that on the poster. By the way, I'd be remiss if I don't mention the passing of Antonio Enoki. We found out about this on Friday night. Actually, credit to WWE. That's how I found out about it. They announced it in the middle of the broadcast, which I thought was really cool to honor that part of wrestling's history, but of course his impact in the world of martial arts and mixed martial arts, incredible. There's been a lot of great things written about him. Damon Martin wrote for MMAfighting.com, our friend Mark Ramundi for ESPN, Dave Meltzer for Wrestling Observer. Just a pioneer, a legend, a giant, an icon in the world of combat sports, especially in Japan. Politician as well. So just an absolute legend who passed away late last week at a relatively young age. I mean, late 70s, but just a guy who always seemed like larger than life. So I wanted to mention his passing as well. And it's a quiet week for us. No Wednesday show, no Monday show. Back Wednesday. Any final thoughts, guys, before this little break?
Yeah, I actually have one thing that I want to address.
uh-oh.
They're on Twitter talking about the old Jersey curse here.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
Frank and Joe. I think Frank forgets that I can get when he's doing like the direct talk.
Wait. Frank's talking shit
I
on
hear
Twitter.
Frank and Joe talking. No,
There are
like
no
the
secrets
direct
here.
talk. I hear the Jersey talk going too. I think if we
Oh, yeah.
yesterday, look at the highlights of what happened and what I was wearing there. The Buffalo Bills, while I was wearing the Von Miller jersey, come back from 17 points down in a historic comeback on the road.
Yeah.
Big W. That's a win in the.
And you were wearing it.
the entire game. Frank, as the comeback was going, I keep the spirits high the entire game. We're down, we're not out. You can flip the script quickly in the NFL. Frank sending in the SMH, this game's over, all that.
Yeah, very nice.
As the Bills are storming back, he's like, "You're not wearing the jersey, are you?" Sent a picture. I am, and I have been wearing the jersey.
Yeah, so all you jersey haters, all you believers in the curse, you can suck it.
T-shirt
curse still.
T-shirt curse. Oh, the jersey curse isn't a thing. So now they're trying to mix the two.
They're trying to extend it. What's next? A hat curse?
Yeah.
Don't
speak
it into
I think
existence.
next is just the Connor curse. It just becomes like,
wow, you're perpetuating that now.
I ate a cheesesteak. It's the
exactly.
cuisine curse.
Exactly.
Everyone loves just throwing these curses around as if Nottingham is not a bottom of the table team.
Nope.
Struggling.
How dare you?
On the road.
Can we pull back the curtain though? Because I feel like there were competing forces at play here, right? Like I'm on the text chain. I see some of this conversation.
You never chime in though. You're like, I can't be bothered.
This is not my
He's
thing.
secretly cheering for the Ravens.
But I'll say this: I enjoy seeing that. Like that gets me excited. But I mean, we have to. The elephant in the room is that Ariel did the reverse.
I did. I
and
actually
we have to talk about that.
I'm the reason why I think they won. I legit think that they won. Here's the thing: Sundays are tough. I'm not one of those dads. I can't be one of those dads. NewYorkRic, you got young kids. Like you can't. If you're a dad of kids 10 and under and you're just like, hey, I'm sitting in front of the TV on the couch on Sunday at 1 p.m., like, you're just not a great dad. I'm sorry. There's things going on.
I'm not going that far, but
there's
I'm
things
with you.
going on. Listen, there's activities going on. There's things going on.
Team on NFL Sunday, you're a bad dad.
No, listen, there's things happening.
What you're saying is ignoring your children for other things is not great.
I've got a phone and I've got Sunday Ticket on my phone. And so it's very easy for me. Claire has skating at 1:20 on Sundays. I'm watching the game at the skating rink. I'm looking up, I'm waving, I'm saying great job.
Things are a little in conflict
Listen,
with what you just said.
No, I'm there. I'm present, but I'm also now the game started off horrendously. As you said, I mean, nightmare. By the way, Iron Eagle, so good. I know you love Iron Eagle. He was fun. Iron Eagle football is so good. I love
anything.
Yeah,
What are we talking
he's so
football?
good.
He is the best broadcaster in my opinion. Best.
Really?
GOAT.
He's
number
so good.
one.
No, GC just said meh. That's a
I
bad
remember
take.
there was a thing where what's I don't even know.
Noah
what's
Eagle.
Ian's. Yeah, Noah.
Oh, that's his son.
He was making there was a gag where he was pretending that I was like this huge Noah Eagle fan.
He's just an Eagle fan.
I'm a fan of the Eagles in general. Ian Eagle, number one.
So
all
good
time.
at football.
The GOAT.
When I hear his voice doing football, basketball is obvious, but when I hear him doing football with Charles Davis, I think it's a great tandem.
Give me Kevin Harlan.
Played out.
He's fine, but
Played
Ian.
out. What a just.
Iron Eagle is so
Gus
good.
Johnson.
Anyway, listen.
These
Don't
things
say-
Breen,
happen.
what are you going to say about that one?
Hey, by the way, Mike Breen, horrible. Did you hear what happened to his family?
No.
Oh, horrible.
Fire.
Yeah, their house burnt down.
Yeah.
Horrible. I want to send some love to him. His son, Matt, is a big MMA fan who I met a couple times. Horrible situation. I can't even imagine. So our best to the Breen family. In any event, Iron Eagle, Charles Davis, I'm listening to the game. They're talking about nightmare this, nightmare that. The whole freaking defense is injured. I mean, it's just it's a calamity of issues, errors, injuries, and there's picks and there's fumbles and it's raining. And of course, what I'm thinking back in my mind, there's the big Helwani homecoming game. Spirits are going to be down. They're going to be 2-2. I'm thinking the worst in that moment. So
You're thinking about
And so this is what I did. On behalf of the team, I sacrificed myself and I said, I'm going to turn this off for now. I'm going to follow Twitter. I'm refresh. I got my Bills list. I like to follow, but I believe that I'm such a good, loyal fan, devoted fan that I have, there's some people who are like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like the jersey thing, like it doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter. Like, of course, we have nothing to do with Leicester City being up 3-0. I believe that my connection runs so deep with the fan that I do have that power. And so I turned it off. And what happened as I turned it off? The Ravens didn't score again.
Now we need to unpack this, though.
Yes.
I mean, you can't just leave it there. Why do you think that you're turning it off positively affects the team? Like, what is it about that was the reverse
It's like that
jinx?
fan of the Chiefs that one time who left the game. And remember they came
I've
back.
heard of this
Yeah.
before.
You got to switch. It's not me turning it off. It's me switching it up.
mojo.
It's switching it up. And I will say I tested the theory though, because fourth quarter, 6 minutes left, game tied. I was like, all right, I have to stop doing this. I need to just watch it. At this point, we're at a bowling alley. Okay, now we've gone from the rink to the bowling alley, and I'm still, plugged in. And I was like, and then I put it on, and I thought in the back of my mind, oh my God, if they lose this game, I will never break this. But
Now,
thankfully, Billick sucks as a clock management coach, and I can't believe they didn't call. Yeah, I can't believe they called their timeouts, and then I can't believe they didn't let Singletary score. And then, of course, we know what happened. Tyler Bass.
Did you say Billick?
yeah, he's going back.
Oh, Billick,
back some
Harbaugh. Sorry,
Going back
Brian
some
Billick.
years.
John Harbaugh. My bad. He
I have to
sucks.
take
By the
a-
way, he sucks too.
I have to take a little bit of credit also. My roommate, diehard Ravens fan from Baltimore, was at the game, and he tweeted when they started crying.
Wait, he was at the game?
He was at the
You
game.
didn't tell us that
He got up at 6 a.m., drove to
because
Baltimore.
he's a Ravens fan.
Diehard Ravens fan.
How long is that drive, by the
Raised
way?
in Maryland. It's like 3 hours.
How long was the drive home?
Well,
It's just
he
3
didn't go
hours
home
from
much.
here to
Yeah.
Baltimore?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
It's not that long. But anyway, he tweets when you can kind of feel the tides turning. He tweeted, the Ravens are going to lose this game. Everyone just needs to accept that. And I caught him. I was just like, oh, I see you're trying to reverse jinx this. Congratulations on the Ravens' big win.
Wow.
So I
Wow.
reversed the reverse.
He reversed the reverse.
Wow.
And
You had the mojo going, the positivity in the group chat. I'd like to say, you said 30% earlier with all the forces that were at play. I'd say
There's a lot of
50%.
Connor's
We'll give
taking
49%. No, not me personally.
Total.
I'm saying us as
Between-
a crew, 49% of the win to us, 51 to the team.
I can confirm this. I saw the tweet exchange. I follow his roommate on Twitter.
Wow.
I can confirm.
Can you also
that.
confirm I never wavered? I never
No, wait
said
a
it was
minute,
over.
though. What would you,
You
say
did
to
not.
somebody?
You did not. You did
what,
not say that.
What would you say to somebody who said you gave up and turned off the game? What would you say to somebody who
That was my
to
knee jerk
make
reaction.
that-
Yeah,
what you were doing,
I would
yeah.
say suck it. That's what I would say. All right, I did what I had to do for the good of the team. All right, if I would have stayed and watched that game as I was watching it, there's no chance that we're 3-1. We're 2-2.
Based on also you have to thank Connor for the reverse of the reverse.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
I will say there was no doubt in your mind on this text chain. There was no doubt that if you turned off the game that they were going to start.
I felt good about it.
You were extremely
It was
sure of it.
it was honestly like the moment I turned it off, good things started to happen. It was incredible.
I saw it in
So
action.
it was not a fit of.
I'm not the
Of
first guy to turn off a game or
frustration.
walk
No, I've
out of a
seen
game.
this. I've
Yeah,
heard
I
of
mean,
this.
this is the
But-
thing that the
but
real
you
fans know that they have to do on behalf of the team.
Yeah, but you thinking that you are somehow
Yeah,
See, but
I believe
usually
that.
like switch seats.
sometimes I turn. I mean, it's happened
some
so many
food.
times in my life where I've turned it off. I've walked out of the room. I've changed something.
did you turn it back?
Yeah, I told you 5 minutes left. I turned it back on, and then they won. So
What
it
if
was
it-
almost
oh,
like the
what if it-
football. Yeah, if it would, if,
Dicey.
yeah, no, I trust me. I was struggling with that, but I was like, okay, I'm just freaking out here. I can't keep refreshing Twitter. Plus, we're on this text chain, and I mean, I love Frankie, but I mean, he's the worst texter of all time. I mean, it's like you say something, and then it's like 2 hours later,
Yeah.
sunglasses emoji.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
to
I'm
me,
actually in full agreement here. There's been a few where
You know what
I
I-
read it and I'm just.
You
like,
know what I have to say to that? It's tough.
it is tough. It's very
It
tough.
is tough.
Can't
I
be
got a
that.
tough from my girlfriend
It's
this
tough.
weekend.
Wow, you did?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yep, something happened.
She's gave you it. It's tough.
It was a very dumb hypothetical conversation. I think it was, would you rather have to all your food or drinks be hot or cold for the rest of your life? You have to choose one. And, after a lot of deliberation on the subject, I was like, yeah, man, it's tough. And she was just like,
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And
Oh,
yeah,
wow! The way you just said that right there, I had an internal pop.
Cold all day.
Would be interesting, by the way, if someone said, like, if you're like, "Fuck, I can't believe Mackenzie Dern beat Yan Chanan," and then you get it and it's tough. I don't. I feel like that would
yeah.
trigger you.
No. I almost was like, man, 2 of the last 3 weeks have been losing weeks. I almost hit the
It's
tough video.
We got it. We got to keep it sacred. Can't
can't
over.
You've
overplay.
tweeted it a bunch.
Just twice.
A lot of people have tweeted it. I also do have to say, yeah, Frank, just this morning, we're all in the group chat this morning. We're hyped up about
time
Forrest.
was it?
Yeah.
8:20, so not
Yeah.
a ridiculously early time. Helwani gets the things going. Our other crew member Jake in the
Happy
Forrest
birthday.
Friends group. Happy birthday to Jake. We're all getting hyped. We all send stuff 8:22 and then 10:15. an hour and 53 minutes later, we get a smiley face emoji.
Yeah, what is that?
from
Frank, don't,
smiling.
by the way, don't contribute at that point. It's either you don't contribute, or at least I'd rather like a double tap like, or just
Those are the worst, because then it's like
No, even then, 2 hours later for the double tap, it's just the wave has passed you by.
Do you feel pressure? Like, do you feel like you have to contribute?
I was
That's why-
literally catching
this
up.
smiley face is
That's
the
my
coupling
reaction.
to pressure.
I'll say this: you guys go hard on Frank. Like every Frank transgression gets exposed on this show, so I would
but
feel
we give him
pressure
so
if
much
I was
love
Frank.
behind the scenes. The other thing is, like, we're doing we're talking about the parlay pals, and then he's responding 3 hours later to the loss, like oof, and I don't even know what he's talking about at this point. What was that thing that you said? There was one thing where I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Everything is
yesterday,
just the relentless
The
oofs
Ravens
in
did
this
a really
group chat.
good play. I was like, that was a good play. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah. He's talking now. He's praising the Ravens in the Bills.
It was
chat.
just a good play.
I mean, Frank. Wait, I got to get this one
Poor Frank.
because we're talking about the picks, which we lost, and what was it? Yeah, I think it was your guy that was first, right? Was it not?
It was definitely on.
And you weren't even. What were you doing Saturday night that you couldn't even keep up with your guy?
I was celebrating 3 birthdays with people.
I was with him.
There was a lot going
So
on.
he has no excuses.
Costa lost before you even got there, right?
Oh yeah, well before it.
This is good. This is good airwaves
This
right
is
now.
good. I'm
Everybody just locked into their phone reading text.
Oh, here.
Also-
well, shit. I mean, that's it. You know. So you
that
wrote
sums it up.
parlay. Connor starts 4:21 p.m. Jesus Christ. Then the dead emoji. Parlay dead. And then I asked, did we pick Costa? Because I forgot. Then 18 minutes later, Frank gives us a well shit. I mean, like at that point, you're either locked in or you're not. All right.
Definitely
also,
was not locked in.
you send a video of our boy Action Bronson on Jimmy Kimmel and
Oh yeah.
goes woof.
Yeah. And then he says he's responding to someone.
Yeah, and you go,
Frank.
oh okay. I go woof.
Frank,
What,
just-
Frank? He goes, I'm just catching up.
Just let it be known I'm sympathetic to you.
Frank,
Thanks.
you know you
Yeah.
could reply to a tweet, like you can keep your finger on it, so at least we know what the woof. Because I think Connor and I both thought that you were saying woof to Action, who smashed it.
Yeah, I was with him. I was like, why'd you say woof? He was like, I'm just
Reaction.
catching up.
You know, Action's probably working out right now, listening to this, and thinks that Frank turned on him.
Because
after he
you
gave
guys
it.
are
shot.
planting that seed. Frank, I'm on your
Frank,
side.
what do you want to say to Action right now?
What's up, Action?
You don't want to say I'm sorry.
I think it's
All right.
I think it's
You know what? Now
understood.
now I'm
Plug your
back. Now I'm
Instagram,
back on
Frank.
the other side. That was brutal, Frank. Come on.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I was
Shout out to
thinking,
Action. How about that?
yeah, Action, killing it. Jimmy Kimmel show.
Megastar everywhere.
I feel like all my friends are getting into pro wrestling. I need to do it myself.
Yeah, when are you
I mean, Action,
too busy
DC.
sunbathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are those are two different promotions. Now you might have a
Maybe
have
you
to,
get a little bidding war going on.
Oh wow.
Yeah, a little bidding war would be nice. Maybe I'll go to Ring of Honor. Maybe I'll.
That's
Yeah, that
AEW,
is
right?
AEW. I didn't think you'd know that. Maybe I'll go to Impact Wrestling. You listen to Cheap Heat.
I listened biggest cheap heat guy in the biz today. As
Who's that? You? You've been back in the day.
day one.
I even got a text from Stat Guy Greg on Friday.
Really?
Yeah,
He doesn't
I
even text
popped.
me.
Yeah,
What's
I
that
popped.
about? That's my guy.
about the Seth Rollins interview.
I have to admit, I'm a little jealous of your pipeline to old Dipperstein. That's my
Oh yeah, we text all the time.
my number
Me,
one.
Dip, Skylar Aston.
Is he
We've
a
got our own text thread going on.
great
He's a
guy?
great guy. He is an absolute great guy. All right, gents. I was thinking of sticking around and watching the second half of the Forest game, but
We've got other soccer. No.
we've got
Flag
football.
football.
We've got flag football
You might
tonight.
you might do better if you don't watch, as we've
time
learned
for
today.
it?
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to turn it off. Bang.
Turn it off.
How about that? So, to recap, Glory Collision 4.
Yeah.
WWE Extreme Rules, Ben Eubank, Helwani Rogers Center, Helwani Orchard Park. I mean, it's a weekend to end all weekends. We will not be back on Monday. We'll be back next Wednesday. How do you think people will react to this?
Where's the MMA hour? You guys didn't have a show today?
Yes, I will get a lot of that.
I'm positive you will.
I hope I'll be fasting on Wednesday. I'll be atoning for not just my sins, all of your sins.
Thank you.
What a
I have to
hero.
probably go. It's usually 25 hours. I'll probably have to go 28 hours just
Wow.
because Frank is now in my life and all the sins that he has brought upon us. So it's going to be a tough
It's gonna be
sledding.
a long 9 days.
Yeah.
there.
No water, no food, no nothing.
Oh my gosh.
25
No
hours.
sympathy.
No sympathy. just complete atonement for all your sins. So I just want to let you all know, when you're complaining about no show on Wednesday, trust me, I'd rather do a 9-hour show than have to fast for Frank's sins.
I'll be in the trenches with you. My elevator will be going floor by floor.
Oh, yeah.
That's the trenches?
That's the trenches. Yeah.
How many floors?
4.
Nojo, what do you do to break your fast?
Oh, that's a great question. When I was young and dumb, you'd want to eat, like initially you're like, oh, I'm so hungry. Made a huge mistake early on. So you're supposed to fast as 13 and up, right? Bar mitzvah. And I remember eating so much that I threw up right away. Because your body, by the time you make it to the end, you're actually not that hungry because you're so hungry.
Yeah, you've broken through.
Yeah. So it's a very simple meal, and it's a very slow meal. It's usually lemonade to get the acidic whatever, and bagel, cream cheese, lox.
Simple meal.
I mean, this is
pretty heavy.
A Jewish man.
Yeah,
life.
that's
I was
it.
thinking matzo soup with just the broth.
Yeah, you could do that. I don't know. The bagel always hits. Sesame bagel. That's it.
Whoa.
You don't fast, right, Eric?
Nah,
You're correct. No.
of the try, but I mean,
Yeah. The tougher one is the one that gives me a lot of anxiety is the last meal.
Oh,
because you know that's it.
Yeah.
Or-
So you end up getting so full because you start like packing it in, which is dumb because by the morning you're still hungry anyway, and it's harder with kids because they want to eat and stuff. I used to do this thing where I would eat like a large pizza myself.
I got to tell you, that's my move. I would still
Eat the pizza?
I would do what you just said. The mistake you made, that would be my mistake every single time.
Oh yeah.
Ice cream, candy, pizza.
But now I'm off
whatever.
pizza.
Oh, really? The dairy
Yeah.
part of it?
No
or-
dairy.
I'm trying to go no bread. So
No,
it's a
okay.
real tough one for me this time around.
No sympathy.
Bagel?
But how's a bagel not bread?
Yeah, on the back end, I think I'm going to do. There's a difference between the bagel and a pizza. You know, like the pizza.
There's a bagel bite that's literally pizza.
No,
on a bagel.
not really. No.
For me, there is. All right.
Okay.
You know,
But-
you're right.
Listen, you made it through a tough 28 hours for
I deserve
Frank's
it.
sins.
Extra.
On the
you
front
deserve
end,
it.
I don't deserve it.
No, not yet.
No.
I mean, that's between you and God. You have to.
I need something that I could eat a lot of. I could eat a lot of sushi, but the problem is with the soy sauce, you're very thirsty.
Mm,
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I just go plain, but plain sushi.
I like this.
Had a lot
Extra
of soy sauce
wasabi
last
and
night.
ginger, and then you're fine.
Yeah, wasabi, no soy sauce. That's
Wait, you had sushi on a Sunday? Huge
No,
mistake.
no.
What,
No,
but you
no,
can't have
I had
sushi on
Thai
the
Talking
food
about
last
the-
night. A lot
Yeah.
of saltiness.
the
Woke
fresh
up-
fish.
Yeah, Sunday,
Oh,
Monday.
yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
never have
Night.
sushi on a Sunday, Monday.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wait, why not?
Because
The fish
the
delivery.
fish isn't.
Oh,
You got Tuesday
Yikes.
to Saturday.
All sushi
I've had
is frozen
kosher sushi on
before they
Sundays
serve
before.
it.
Kosher sushi's okay. It's been blessed. But all right, gents.
Okay, yeah.
God bless. Frank, you can hear my music.